What's up, guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Sam. You're watching Adventure Vehiculist, and on today's episode, I'm going to show you how to put a tow hitch on any old ship box. Now, first off, I want to start off by saying that I have done this modification to probably a dozen front-wheel drive cars, and I have never personally experienced any sort of an issue with the car, with the hitch system, with towing a trailer. I've towed trailers for thousands of miles with shipbox cars, and I've never had a failure of any sort, never had a hitch bend, break, crack, fall off, anything like that. That being said, if you are not confident in your welding abilities, you probably should not be doing this. Go buy a kit or have somebody else do it or something, but this is a structural weld. These welds are going to be directly holding the hitch onto the car, the trailer onto the hitch. All the weight is going to be going through those welds that you do, so it is important that you know how to do this, you do it properly, that you have confidence in your welding ability before you even try to embark on this project. So, what am I even talking about? Well, when it comes to me putting a hitch on my personal ship boxes, I only paid $2,000 for this whole car. It's cheap. It's pretty reliable. It's been a good little car to me, but I'm not trying to spend a lot of money to make it do the things that I need it to do. My goal with a $2,000 car is to buy it, run it into the ground, and when it fails, I'll probably part it out and I'll make most of my money back. So I really just want to use it in that time span for as little money as possible. I want to put a hitch on this thing so that I can tow my little motorcycle trailer with it and carry around my motorcycles. But I'm not going to go to U-Haul and pay $500 for one of their kits and have it installed. That wouldn't make any sense. That's 25% of the entire cost of this vehicle. So what I have here, this is a little truck hitch off of a Toyota pickup. I bought this thing several years ago. I think I paid $40 for it. And as you can probably tell, I've actually already modified this thing multiple times. This same hitch was on my Ute. It was welded to the back of my Ute project, and then I cut it off of that when I got rid of the Ute, and I modified the brackets, and I actually had it on my F-150 for a while. And then I took it off my F-150 when I cut that up. You're probably starting to see a pattern here, right? And I'm getting ready to modify it again in order to put it onto this Volkswagen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the rear bumper. I'm going to modify the rear bumper support in some ways. I usually cut it off, but I leave the brackets that hold the rear bumper support there. And then I'm going to end up welding the hitch to those brackets. And then from there, I usually add some support going directly from the hitch to the body of the car just to make sure that it's really tied in with the unibody and just super, super strong. I like to go overkill on this, obvious reasons. I just want to make sure that it's absolutely never going anywhere unless I want it to. So I just got this corner here of the bumper to drop, and look at this. I knew that the rodents had been in this car, like in the front of it. I had no idea that they had also been in the back of it. Look at this. So much. Alright, I finally got this rear bumper off. And look at this pile. I mean, holy hell. That is, I don't know if you can tell, but that is like a lot of tree material that's just been living in my car. Pretty crazy. Anyway, this is the rear bumper support I was telling you about. This is what we're going to be modifying and turning into a hitch receiver. In fact, we're just going to be pretty much replacing it with this guy. my goal is to retain this part right here. This is like the bracket where it bolts to the body, and I want to save that, keep that in part, and make this into the Alright, here we are. I skipped a bunch of the boring cutting and grinding in order to get it to this point, but this is the mock-up. You can see I got it fitting nice and tight in here. Both sides. It's even to the body right here. And it's in the middle. Right there. And you can kind of see how I cut a bunch of the... I left a bunch of the original bumper support, and then I have the hitch running all the way behind it to the edge so that there's lots of overlap here. The reason I like to do it this way is because this bumper support is intended to be very strong, and it bolts directly to the unibody frame. There's a frame rail right in here that this bolts to, and I'm going to end up welding this bracket to the body just to make it super strong. And I'm also going to end up adding a support here in between the body and the hitch receiver, just to make sure that this is really, really strong and really on here. Alright, little update. I got this thing welded together, and you guys saw me, I took it off, put it on the ground so I could weld the bottom parts and the back parts I can't reach. And yeah, she's looking excellent. It bolted right back on, really clean, really easy, just like it was made for it, which is really nice. I've never done one of these and bolted it on and just left it at that. In theory, I mean, maybe you could do that. I think it really depends on how big the bolts are and how secure it is and how you're feeling with it. Maybe if you were going to tow something super light or just use this for a bike rack, you could get away with that. But since I've been known to push my vehicles and really use the heck out of them, I like to weld this bracket to the body. And I'm also going to be welding a little brace in there, just to make sure this thing is super, super strong. But, I mean, in theory, it's probably to the point where it could be used right now. But I'm just going to go the extra mile and do a little bit more welding just to make sure that this thing is really, really solid. I'm going to go ahead and call it a night for the night, because it's starting to get a little dark out here. And I need to clean up my tools and everything. But I'm going to come back out first thing in the morning, get this sucker finished up, and she'll be ready to tow. Alright, it's a new day. It's beautiful outside. Let's get to work. Well, that's going to wrap up this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Like I said before, this is not meant to be a tutorial. This is simply meant to answer the question of how I put a hitch on just about any car. I post cars towing trailers online all the time. People always ask me, "Oh man, where did you find a hitch for that car?" And I'm like, I didn't. I just went and bought a truck hitch and I welded it to the body. People are like, "Oh, whoa, that sounds weird. That sounds sketchy," or "Oh, that I don't have the skills for that," or whatever. Honestly, I learned how to do this. I'm self-taught. I learned how to weld myself. I've been practicing for 5 years now. I've gotten much, much better. And the only way you can learn something is just to jump in and do it. But like I said, this is not something you should do if you're just starting out. You don't know how to weld. This is an important thing to get right. So start on something, start on some scrap metal, scrap project, whatever you got laying around. Teach yourself how to weld. It's a worthwhile skill. I hope you guys enjoyed this adventure, and I hope you guys will come back for the next one.